Fortune Ladies is one of those archetypes that would be way better in Duel Links if the support cards were actually searchable and were, good. But they aren't, so yeah, that's the video. But all jokes aside, I remember this deck being just a draw engine where they would special summon Fortune Lady Water and pass to draw 2 cards, synchro summon into a level 5, then use desynchro to special summon the materials, triggering Water's effect to draw another 2 cards. With the combination of other cards, they would eventually draw out most of their deck, which obviously led to Exodia FTKs, and there was probably a burn strategy that I don't remember. But then Konami justifiably took that strat to the gallows by limiting desynchro to 1. After that, they rarely saw her play apart from Fortune Lady Every, since she is the best card in the archetype. But other than that, they haven't been seen since 2019, with 2021 being the last time I could play them. So how can we fix them and make the deck actually playable while not turning it into a degenerate strategy? Well, first we need to see their intended playstyle, and since they debuted in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, we get to see them in action. So Carly only had like 2 duels in the show with the Fortune Ladies, and from what we can pull from those 2 duels is that, for the most part, it is a swarm deck with the main starter being Fortune Lady Light, and Carly would then trigger Light's effect by using Battle Traps and the field spell Fortune's Future. After that though, it would kind of work like a worse version of Cubics, where she would focus on burning the opponent and attacking them with her monsters. So with that information, what do we have to work with? Well, not much. Apart from this playstyle being super slow, most of the cards Carly used aren't in archetype, so they can't be searched. Heck, in Duel Links, only 2 out of the 6 cards with Fortune Lady and their card effects can even be searched with Fortune Vision, which is their only search card. Though, even if you could search them, a lot of them are situational at best. Take Bending Destiny as an example. It's a pseudo Omni Negate that gives the negated card back to the opponent at the end of the turn, but in the case of monsters, only negates the normal summon of a monster. Or how about Inherited Fortune, which special summons up to 2 Fortune Lady monsters from your hand, if a Fortune Lady that is face up is destroyed. Now, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but it only summons them on your next standby phase and is attached to a trap card, so it gets destroyed like 90% of the time before it gets a chance to be activated. Most of the cards like this could be salvaged by simply retconning them to include this card is always treated as a Fortune Lady card in the effect, and maybe revamping the effects a little bit, but since we know these cards are more likely to get retrained, if anything, the more straightforward way to fix Fortune Ladies is to give them a skill. So we'll do that. First off is the stat issue. I think an easy way to fix this is by having the Fortune Ladies levels be equal to the highest level monster on your field. Now, whether or not it's a passive or active is something I'll figure out later, since there are some pros and cons to both of those ideas. And the second issue is summoning. Inherited Fortune isn't that bad, but just like Time Passage, it would be so much better as part of a skill. Speaking of that, I'm all for using older cards and fixing their problems, so I think Bending Destiny being attached to the skill will allow it to actually be used. Though, I do think you need a way to get it back, since the counter trap, while it has its issues, is also the deck's only real interruption, not to mention it triggers future visions as effects as well. Next is Every. Now when it comes to summoning Every, I'm probably just going to take a page out of Jack's new skill. It was an idea I had before, I just thought it was overpowered until Konami did it first, so crazy or not, Konami is willing to make it, so we're just going to use it. And finally, we have the Immortal itself to worry about. Pretty much just having a way to get a field spell easily, and when you need it, is probably the best way forward. Alright, and with all that, we'll tack on some prerequisites, a few personal preferences, and let's see what I came up with. You can only activate the second, third, and fourth effects of this skill once per turn. This skill can only be used / applied if you begin the duel with a deck, excluding extra deck, that contains at least 3 different spellcasters with different attributes. If the only monster in your deck, excluding extra deck, are Fortune Lady and or Earthbound Immortal, apply this effect. If a Fortune Lady monster was sent from the field to the graveyard, at the end of that turn, you may play up to 2 Fortune Lady monsters from your hand to the graveyard in face-up attack position whose level is 6 or less. At the start of your first turn of the duel, return 2 cards from your hand to your deck, then add 1 Fortune Vision, 1 Fortune Lady Calling, and 1 card with Fortune Lady in its card text from your deck to the hand. The first activated effect is send 1 monster you control and 1 Fortune Lady Calling from your hand to the graveyard to play 1 Fortune Lady Every from your extra deck. Then you can set 1 Bending Destiny from your deck or graveyard. It can be activated this turn. Second activated effect, choose 1 monster you control. The level of all Fortune Lady monsters you control become equal to that monster's until the end of turn. And then the final activated effect, you can reveal one Earthbound Immortal in your hand to play one Fortune Vision from outside your deck. Well, it looks fine. Exploitable? Highly likely, but fine. For the most part, the main idea was to allow flexibility with other archetypes while giving the most reward for playing pure Fortune Lady. I know that starting hands for this deck aren't necessarily the greatest, so having a way to fix your hand is kind of a must, but I didn't just want pure advantage since this deck can do that itself pretty well. This deck is also pretty much locked to Synchro, so I wanted to loosen it up a bit and allow for XZ's plays as well. Finally, since unlike Earthbound Geoglyph, which has protection, Fortune Vision doesn't have that, but it does work well enough in its own right that I wanted to allow constant access to it as long as you had an Earthbound Immortal in your hand. That way, even in bad hands or unfavorable hands, it would allow for that little extra bit of control in setup. The only thing I would change so far would be increasing the needed spellcasters, since I wouldn't be surprised if there was a way to draw like 8 cards in one turn with the right setup. Other than that, that's pretty much the gist of it. If you think it's broken, let me know what should be taken out or changed. Or, if you have a better idea, perhaps drop in the comments for me to share with others. I hope Konami will eventually see that while competitive skills are great, there are a lot of older skills that exist that could be updated or changed. But that is a topic for another video.